But this one is to you then, Peter. And well, yes, I will come full-fledgedly to China in a bit, but Russia-Ukraine clearly seems to be like a bigger headline at this point in time. How are you reading into this, and what is your sense on a bigger macro impact that we could see on dollar index and the metals?
Well, I think, Manisha, 106.30 at that US dollar index, building on what Kunal mentioned as far as, the situation in China, domestic demand, what happens as far as moving forward with President Trump's initiatives and how effective he's going to be and how aggressive. One needs to consider what he did in his first term. Is he going to take the gloves off in the second term and be far more aggressive? And that seems to be the general theme that people are hearing. So this impact is going to, I think, set the market in some ways on fire. So I think that there's going to be one thing for sure, probably dynamic volatility across the whole base metal complex. As far as US dollar index, look, you've got to think maybe 108, 109 is capable of hitting. I know that's probably a very, very bullish call from here, but the whole consensus is US dollar is going to take a run up. And if there is any form of hostility, if that really ratchets up, building on Ukraine and Russia, then that's going to cause, I think, much concern, and there's going to be a flight to King Dollar, Manisha.
Peter, 2018, let's take a step back, and that is when we also saw a trade war between US and China, and we saw huge price movement because of that as well. But this time, not just that, and as Kunal was mentioning as well, we have this anticipation already building up, but there already are a couple of wars going on and around the world. We also are looking at renewables coming back in a very strong way. So the world from where it was in 2018 to where we are in 2024 is quite different, would you say?
And I think it's far different in so many ways because you've got a changing of the guard, you've got a different dynamic considering the Biden administration versus Trump administration. And I'm not sure whether President Trump, he has a different agenda, I think, as far as what he expects to see on the domestic footprint of America. The drill baby drill mantra, certainly the return of manufacturing, and really the tax changes and what he's prepared to do, I think, domestically. He's also on the back of COVID. It's a rerun to make America. He wants to turn it into an economic powerhouse, Manisha, from 22 possibly to 25 plus million barrels a day of crude or more. So I think the whole enterprise of the US is something we may not have seen in many, many decades. And that's what his agenda is going to be. Whether he's going to be successful, who knows? This is going to be certainly the apprentice on steroids, Manisha, for him to, create what his footprint is, what he's trying to achieve. And we're going to sit here and probably observe it and go, wow, either he makes it happen.
Oh, well, that is still a couple of months away before he really gets sworn in, and things can go a lot of different ways in next 2 months, the way they are moving right now. Peter, what is your sense when you look at overall base metals as a sector? I mean, everything that we're looking at does sound bullish at this point in time, unless the demand really deteriorates. What odds do you see of that, and what is your sense on prices from here?
Well, building on that, what Kunal said, as far as global demand, it's very, very hot. Some sectors are doing extremely well in the sense of Asia and South America, Africa, and so on. So there's, from the demand side, I feel as though the copper, probably, Manisha, it's going to whipsaw, and it's just been that strong barometer. Are we going to test 10,000 again? It was only a couple of months back and you were there, and then all of a sudden it's been sold off heavily. So possibly it's a time, as well as that, that downdraft, we've seen, I think, a consolidation. I wouldn't be surprised to test, the high 9,000s, but we've just got to see what happens over this winter period in the Northern Hemisphere. And really, the time as far as inauguration and what that impact's going to be is from a Trump administration to base metals and to really the whole complex. Really, every commodity is going to be impacted, from agriculture all the way through to base metals. So I feel as though we're going to strap ourselves in. It's going to be strong, relatively strong demand in 25, unless something happens from a geopolitical stance, and that changes really, and what happens globally. But overall, I think we're going to see pretty strong move to the upside, and 25 is going to be a dynamic year for trading.
Oh, well, absolutely. Nobody's doubting that, Peter. But with the kind of moves that we are seeing, would you rather put your money in gold and silver? Because that really seems to be doing quite well. Of course, after that huge profit taking that we've seen from the highs, there seemed to be some consolidation and some people yet again moving back in.
Yeah, absolutely, Manisha. I think it was just that hot air came out of it, was stripped out, and that's not unusual. It's quite normal when you see a raging bull market down to that 25 odd. Now we're at 26.40. If geopolitics, and I'm just seeing this first strike from Ukraine into Russia, this is all going to, I think, magnify the attraction to gold and silver in the short run. If things escalate from there, Manisha, then naturally geopolitical concerns, flight to safety, and yeah, it's still 6 weeks to run till the end of the year, and I think we'll test those highs again, Manisha.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in and for that conversation as well. And with that, that's all the time on Commodity Champions. Thank you for watching.